Hello, hi, good morning, and welcome to our international conference on multidisciplinary approaches on education, science, engineering, social science, and humanities from Beijing, China. I'm Arkam here from Malaysia, and today I would like to share about our important topic that relate to our theme for this conference this year. Uh, Title as a Digitalization of Competency Training for Construction Personnel in Malaysia. So I'm Arkam from Malaysia again. I would like to welcome everybody for the session this morning. I've been given about uh, I've been given about 15 minutes to talk about this one briefly. So hopefully it can create some new knowledge or can lead to some new knowledge for all of our participants in this conference this year. So, first of all, we'll start with this statement where we understand that our world that we live now is actually changing at a very fast pace. That also what we teach and how we teach also evolving rapidly. This is involved or the influenced by the technological advancement and social trends towards digitalization, and for just like our other revolutionary changes, so this will be impact on our social economic education system resulting from the globalized economy and led to the propels changes, specifically in higher education such as education standard quality, decentralization, virtual, and also independent learning. So things, as an overview for all of us today, we'll talk about how we can make the digital training is possible, especially for competency training, and how we want to assess our participants or our learners to get the assessment through this kind of current way of having this kind of learning. So talking about this, we talk six digital transformation trends in education, where we have this AR, augmented reality, virtual reality, mixed reality, for example, classroom set of devices where we need a device to be gathered together, to be gathered, and also how it to be used in our practices. We redesign the learning spaces. We don't want to have a normal boring classroom anymore. We want to change it, and it is possible to do it this way. And we add on this artificial intelligence in our learning and education purposes. Then we can have this personalized learning, because some of the students will just interested on the topic they are, of course, exposed to, they interested to. Other than that, we name it as a essential knowledge only. Are they going to focus on the essential knowledge, or do we want them to have a spectrum of knowledge that sometimes not so useful for everybody? So gamification also one of the approach of digital education, where we can learn through game, for example. So this is why it is important to have what we call a good setup on how we want to blend our system education into the current trend where we talk about the digitalization in education. So for top 5 e-commerce in Southeast Asia for quarter 3 2018, for example, I think last about quite some time already, about 6 7 years. But the thing is, just want to share that there is e-commerce platform that is very popular in every countries, which is also the things shape on how we shopping, for example, or how we do our shopping, for example. So things like this is actually coming and still ongoing, and we can see on how been impact on our economic or social activities regarding to the e-commerce things. And the same goes to education on the left, on the right of the screen, telling what the same thing. So things now change due to that kind of situation where we need to involve everybody on the digitalization. And in Malaysia also, we have this digital economy has been projected to contribute about quarter of the country GDPs in 2025, meaning to say that whatever industry that related to the digital digital economy will will contribute to the high GDP, about quarter of our GDP will come from the digital economy. So if we go for digitalization, in what matter that we are involved in, that will be a sign of sustainability of our business, where we change our mode of working, not only doing the conventional traditional way of working, where we need also to get involved with things like this digitalization that be embedded into our businesses. So that is important, just to keep pace on whatever that been introduced or been adopted or accepted by the community to work within our digitalization. So think about it, that we are so bound to it, where we need to follow the stream of digitalization so that we will not be left behind. And talking about the digitalization, we cannot run away from this industrial revolution set up. So we have been assured that our IR now, industrial revolution, up to the fourth industrial revolution, where the IoT or Internet of Things, intelligent machine, takes part for the last maybe about 10 years. And the previous one, or the third industrial revolution, will talk about this computer and automation, use of electronic and IT at that time. And we have second industrial revolution, talking about the mass production. We talk about conveyor belts, on how the automation in the manufacturing processes can get benefit from the mass production. And the first industrial revolutions, back to 300 years ago, is actually talking or started when we have invented the mechanical power or steam turbine or steam engine to assist our work at that time. So here, currently in 2025, we are been recognized by our expert that we are actually in the entry of IR 5.0, Industrial Revolution 5.0, where the AI, artificial intelligence, takes place to assist our work. So if you look into IR1, IR2, IR3, IR4, it's actually to give an impact to the industry where it can be evolved, and a high impact to that specific generations. And current specific generation is actually working on AI, artificial intelligence. You will say the chat GPT or whatever kind of AI that available in the market, either what you call it, accessible, or you need to pay for it. Is just a time now where we start being introduced to the artificial intelligence as part of our activity. So this is very important, where we are the entry point of it. And I think sooner or later we will get been informed that now we are at AI or IR 4.0, 5.0, where AI now become the fifth revolutions in the world currently. So when we talk about IR 4.0, we will talk about the AR, for example, augmented reality, the big data analytics, cloud computing, system integrator, additive manufacturing, IoT, cybersecurity, simulation, and autonomous robots. So these are the pillars when we talk about the Industrial Revolution 4.0, where the important part of it is actually to assist our work, to assist or to get in touch with how we do our work. So that is important, because the work now is highly demanding on how we convey our work and how we actually execute our work and how we put it into a space that everybody want to see it as a finished product. So things like this is important, so that we can see where are we now, and how our topic today can lead to the discussion. And this is related to one of the AR, augmented reality, to show us what is actually possibly to be done by our tablet, for example. And this floating image like this also, currently we can see it now already. This has been there already. It's quite common to see things like this, especially when you drove a new brand new car. Currently is that HUD, head up display, is showing many parameters that you are can see. It's floating in front of your glass or in front of your windscreen, just to keep you view on it while viewing on the road at the same time. So HUD is part of this kind of technologies. Head-up display for a new uh, modern car. Currently, we have this also Google lens to show whatever that we can see from this Google lens from the we connected through to our phone, for example. And all these applications also available in the market today where we can make use of it in terms of making our work more convenient, more sophisticated, we can say that, more modern, and especially is importantly is more efficient, so you can do things more efficiently using all these kind of technology and techniques to make sure our work is carried out in the way that everybody uh, required. So things like this also there. And the advantage of digital is education for students. We want to talk about this um, application of digital technology and tools. People nowadays will use it. Will be using our tools in order for them to work. A deeper involvement of teachers and parents, better engagement rate. If the things is good, the student will get it. Engage with it, make students more accountable where they need to have their own time and their own what we call this discipline to learn, because it's all about the online learning. People um, can't not be able to see what you do, but you have your own internal self-regulated to self-motivation and so self-discipline to work within the work. Now, extensive learning opportunities, this thing that also been talking for digital education, motivate students to get more and more exposed to the tools and technologies, make students smarter in terms of IT, how they understand IT, how they understand, the tools, devices, things like that, to be them useful, and personalized learning where actually we just want to learn the things that we are required to learn based on our career. So we don't want to learn something that maybe require more time for us to learn, but it's actually not been useful in our career. Things like that is actually not become selective for our younger generation to work with it. And this digitalization also will talk about build skill set for the future, including updating the youth education and all this. Like, I don't want to read everything. You can get the copy of the slide later. And these are the important six reasons why we want to go for digital. The first one, students can decide for themselves where, when, and how they want to study, regardless of time and location. So this is important because people have their own, preference to learn, and actually we have been also divided by the time zoning. While here in Malaysia, uh, maybe the time zone is different from other countries part of the world. If we can have it online, people can learn at the time where they are supposed to learn. Other than that, it's make that thing available, accessible 24/7. This is how we can really put the student center stage where students can excel by themselves, understanding the work within their own capacity. Digital is true enabler for new methods of learning, from example, for example, massive online open courses and SPOC, small private online courses, to blend learning and virtual classroom. So we are now connected with everybody. For example, we have our social media accounts, Facebook, IG, LinkedIn, and all those is actually link everybody while having the different time zone. So that is where virtual appearance is also counted when we talk about the students' growth or progression. The unlimited availability of video content, gamification, VR, artificial intelligence, etc., makes the learning process more engaging and fun. So that the availability of all these kind of learning processes, we can do learning through game, for example. While you play game, you can learn too. While you do the virtual reality, you can learn too. While you watch in this YouTube TV, for example, you also will learn too. So this is where the engaging parts of it and how we can put more time to learn and to be exposed to the learning process is more important when we talk about the reason to go for digital. A perfect tool for a customized approaches for offering modular courses and turning personalized learning into adaptive learning. So this is important to where modular courses is actually available, that we can take module by module until you complete the whole module, and you can get one certificate from that module. It's also called as a micro credential, where we can talk it, where we can have it in our system. Spend context hours of knowledge transfer no longer necessary. When you see that one of the in real life is time for discussion, broadening the debate, and also connecting theory to current social events. So this is how among the students through the platforms can learn by their own specific knowledge, and the knowledge can be transferable based on the socio-economic values, geographical location, and whatnot. So it's actually to bring everybody in the world to be in the same platform, and they learn by their own what we call that time zoning. From there, actually, is it possible for them to get it? I mean, certification from the work. Yeah. And this is one of the example of education learning from edX, and you can click on the link edX.org, where you can see a lot of programs, and also up to the master level programs by the um, top universities in the world also is provided under this platform. So this is possibly can be done if you want to do it. In terms of our competency training, also things like this can be started. So what I'm trying to say is actually there is no more conventional learning process where we need to be in the same classroom. Uh, Physically contact with our teachers and friends, for example, and we cannot do it due to our geographical location and also time zoning. For we can break the barriers on the geographical and also time zoning by having this normal, the online platform, so that people can learn everywhere, every time, on whatever subject they are interested to. So these are all other possible platforms that we can work on when we talk about the digital learning. We have the LinkedIn Learning, Data Camp, Plural Site Skills, Udacity, Khan Academy, Code Academy, Udemy Businesses, CBT Nuggets, Skillshare, also Cloud Academy, also offering the same approach on how we can learn through an online. This is there already. I think more than 5 to 10 years already. So either we are still need to catch up. Are we ready to catch up? Are we ready to adopt this as part of our learning process? So this is the thing that we need to work on for our own purpose. Yeah? So in this research, also higher education strategy and digital transformation, published in September 2021. So this is actually talking about how the what we call this digital training, where evolutionary learning and development, when we talk about the AI, cloud computing, IoT, and big data, is blend together to build the advantages using digital transformation strategy to get it done through the digitalization platform, so that people can work on the digital platform to learn other than the conventional physical face-to-face conventional method of learning. So impactful changes due to this is, we talk about the standard of education, quality of education, virtual learning, independent learning, and decentralization of education, that people can do from the offers. They can select whatever topic that they want. It's all been digitalized, and people can learn by their own, and people can also have their own time, and also space for them to learn by themselves. So this is more than normal education, where we need to also to catch up, where digital core, the competence and digital usage will lead into the global coverage and integration, program management, and then lead to the world-class students experience, because this is what is actually they are facing. For example, if we have our kids less than 10 years old, I'm very, very sure They are more engaged into YouTube or Netflix channel or other than that kind of channels other than our local TV channel, for example. So this is how it's been evolved in that way. Same goes to the gamification, where they use gaming to interact with others. This is how we can make use of the game for them, for the good or for the benefits of students too. And this is actually the paper for the Malaysian competency in the construction industry. I don't want to read them all, but I want to say that is it possible for us to look into this as well. When we talk about the competency program, we can have at level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, for example, as exemplified by other regulated program, where all of them can be run through this kind of attributes from the expected outcomes, learning and program outcome mapping, and also rubric, so that we can produce them in the way from the fundamental what I call this fundamental physical training into digitalization training. Is it possible? This is a certificate that we can offer by having a good assessment for them, and they can have this kind of certificate to be issued all through online too. So in our Malaysian TVET industry, we can see the world of work here is actually involving so many what we call this ministries. We have the Ministry of Human Resources, we have the Ministry of Youth and Sport, we have Ministry of Agriculture and Food, we have Ministry of Work, Ministry of Rural Development, we have Ministry of Defence, Ministry of Women, Family and Community, Ministry of Home Affairs, Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture, and also state government TVET agency, and also private agency, all together when landscaping our uh, technical program, or TVET, Technical Vocational Education Training. So all this TVET program normally will lead into one important assessment as well, which is the psychomotor domain need to be assessed too. The psychomotor domain or skill domain need also to be assessed on how we can assess them while we have this kind of internet training or online training, for example. So this is the challenges that we need to take care on how we can bring it into the next level, where even when they do this psychomotor assessment, they can be also assessed through this kind of online learning too. We need to do it in that particular ways. So we have more than 1,200 institutions in Malaysia talking or offering about the TVET's program. It's all goes or all lead to this psychomotor domains, where one of the assessment will be part of the hand skill, hard skill, where they need to perform their duties. So from level 1 to level 8, for example, which level that we require them to be available on the online mode, and what level we need to have them on the physical, still conventional mode. These things also can be discussed further. And construction TVET program internationalization, where also we also put it into under UNESCO Innovate program, where Malaysia is part of the countries also submitting the reports through the TVET country profile, where we have also work within this framework to to show that our commitment into the quality education, basically from Malaysia. So IICED, we know this International Standard Classification of Education 2011, where our program is actually been mapped and been staggered into this kind of primary education, lower secondary, upper secondary, and also colleges, matriculation, bachelor, master degree, and also doctorate level. So this is where it been widely at the world level been accepted very well in our industry. So there's also the documents that we can see on how we can bring our digital education into a reality where people can learn everywhere, everywhere, being assessed every time, just to get the certificate and enabling them to go for workforce while having a good result from their education. So alternative assessment in higher education has been produced by our government through the Ministry of Higher Education, a practical guide to assess learning other than the conventional learning we can assess in many other ways too. So we did just to explore, is it possibly to explore all these things while having our own time of looking into this alternative assessment, not only go for the conventional way of having the assessment. Other than that, we also need to explore ourselves so that it can be more and more sustainable for our future generations. Because our current generations, I mean the young generation, less than 10 years old, they are different. They are different. They've been living for their life, starting from holding their handphones, smartphones since age 2, for example, and now up to age 10, they are still using it. And they say they are more wiser than us when talk about the technology and how it can be used for their own needs. So our next generation, coming in the next 5 to 10 years, they are all different. They cannot be assigned to do kind of formal, conventional, boring classroom learning anymore. They are different, way different, where we need to change our method of delivering our message through education as well. So possible step in the certification processes, what we can do is we are on-job learning, self-training, sufficient past learning experience. They go for minimum entry requirement that can be set by our system, and then get the qualified proof of state attainment on the job character based on program outcomes and successfully submitted evidence and get certified through the programs. Get certification as recognition of past learning experience via specific and measurable assessment process under qualification framework. So this is the whole stepping stones that we need to prepare in order for them to get the assessment ready through our system, through our the online certification program. So some key points from the discussion that we are going to close our discussion today is an online learning certification is acceptable. How about the outcome-based method? Can we do the outcome-based method through this kind of approaches? The condition of past experience learning, continuous professional development, experience requirement, duration, and performance-based criteria. And also the quality control, how we want to control the quality of our education if we want to do it and online. Is it how we want to do it? Framework interchangeable, how we want to harmonize between frameworks from local to international, from international to local, from education, from academic to technical, from technical to the competency, things like that. So that is how the harmonization between framework also one of the important part where we want to where we need to take look if we want to do this kind of education through the online, for example, education based or industrial based. So we need to also compare, distinguish between the needs of industry compared or versus the needs of education purpose. So these are important and these are very, very much different. Some of our education purpose having their own framework to follow, but on the industrial requirement, they require another framework or another approaches to follow. So we need to somehow mitigate between these two and harmonize again between these two so that it can be both benefit for both either education or industrial base as well. So the most important is actually while we're doing our own training is actually to supply of our manpower to the industry. So it is very, very important to make sure that our industry is accepting our graduates through whatever program that we are promoting. So we need to look into the whole framework, a whole spectrum, starting from the establishment of the program, how it been recognized framework, how it can be harmonizing the framework. Is it industrial or academic requirement? What kind of outcome base that we want to see? The attributes that we want to them to hold, the process of learning and the process of assessment, and how we want to mitigate all this kind of problem to change, shift between or from the conventional physical program into the an online program where actually we can gather more of participants coming from any part of the country, for example, despite their location, to join the program as well, rather than we do it in the physical where people need to commute and they will take another efforts just to get certification. So we need to change this. We need to change the mindset that education can be also been online, just like we do our e-commerce online now, just like we do our Now we don't watch our normal TV anymore. We watch Netflix and YouTube, for example, is also an online. We I mean we send the money online. We purchase online. We scan the QR code. We use by our RFID detector. The online is more and more convenience and more reliable nowadays compared to the traditional way of looking into it. So we need to change our mindset that these are all possible. The only things now we need to make sure is doing right. We are going to do the right thing. So this is more important. So well, with that note, I would like to thank again for the organizer for inviting me for this conference again. I would like to to share my appreciation to the organizer who invited me, and hopefully this become one of what we call as a icebreaker that we can think that actually the conventional way of having education is now being shifted into the way that we also live today, and we never use a phone for pay, let's say 10 years ago, but now it's more convenient to pay through phones. And same goes to the education. We never use internet to learn as an education, and that might be changed the next 10 years. People are going to use a fully internet to learn from the kindergarten up to the international or up to the higher education for master or PhD, for example. So with that note, I would like to thank again the organizer and all the viewers of this segment. And hopefully we can get something from the sharing session today. And all the best for your conference in 2025. See you from Malaysia. Thank you so much. And thank you. Shall we meet again? Thank you.